The year is 1940. Dunkirk is being crushed under the weight of the Nazi war machine. The previous year, Germany invaded Poland, with Britain and France declaring war upon Germany soon after, marking the beginning of World War II. The next year, Hitler will order the invasion of the Soviet Union. And Canada needs a tank. In comes the Ram, the first Canadian tank. Following the British evacuation at Dunkirk, the Canadian government saw a need for a tank design to supply the Canadian Armed Forces with if it were to intervene in the war in Europe. With the British unable to supply the Canadians with vehicles, the Canadian government requested tank designs from the United States. Those requests were ultimately denied, as the United States government deemed British orders for armored vehicles to be more important. With this in mind, the Canadian government wished to arm their troops with a domestically produced tank. These tanks would have to be manufactured within the only factory that had the infrastructure capable of manufacturing such vehicles: the Canadian Pacific Railway's Angus shops, also known as CPR, located in Montreal. Whilst the government procured a tank design for domestic production, CPR had a contract to produce 300 Valentine tanks that were to be shipped to the UK, and 480 Valentine tanks that were to be fulfilled to the Canadian Armed Forces. The Canadian Joint Committee on Tank Development stated that any domestic tank design would be made to follow U.S. design standards and use U.S.-built parts, as using parts from several different nations would prove to be a logistical nightmare. At first, the Canadian government sought the production license for the American-built M3 Lee. However, due to lack of enthusiasm for the design, the Canadian government rejected this proposal. After the rejection of the M3 Lee went through, the Canadian Interdepartmental Tank Committee, who led the RAM program, proposed a solution. The M3 Lee's chassis, suspension, drivetrain, engine, and a reworked transmission were to be included as part of the new tank design, as well as a fully traversing turret, which will house the main armament, a British 6-pounder. To simplify the production of the vehicle, the Canadian government chose to replicate or purchase as many parts from the M3 Lee and M4 Sherman as possible to further increase the likelihood of survival of the RAM program. Due to the lack of supply of the British 6-pounder and American 75mm cannons, which testing showed the turret of the Ram was capable of housing, the Canadians instead mounted the British 2-pounder cannon for the Ram Mark I variant. The 2-pounder was easy to produce, and there was already a large stock available. The prototype of the Ram Mark I was ready by June 1941, and the production of the vehicle begun by November. The Ram Mark II, which housed the British quick-firing 6-pounder cannon, began mass production by February of 1942, as by then the Canadian government had enough 6-pounders stockpiled to warrant their expansion into the Mark II variant. Ram production ended when the production lines were converted to instead produce the M4 Sherman. The legacy of the Ram lived on in the Sexton SPG, Ram Kangaroo, Ram Badger, as well as many other variations of the original design. In War Thunder, the Ram, designated M4A5, is a Rank II battle rating 3.7 vehicle located within the U.S. tech tree. It is equipped with the quick-firing 57mm cannon, making it the Mark II variation of the vehicle. It is also armed with 3 M1919A4 30-caliber machine guns, with an almost limitless supply of ammo, making it effective against very lightly armored vehicles and aircraft. While the 6-pounder cannon at 3.7 is usually effective against most foes, with 122mm of penetration at 10 meters and 0 degrees sloping on the respective armor plate, featuring 88mm of armor on the front glacis. The unique profile of the armor allows the effective thickness to reach as high as 160mm, whilst the Porsche Tiger-style cheeks of the hull can allow the armor's effective thickness to reach as high as 250mm plus. This is enough to stop the shells of many opponents the tank will face at its own battle rating, and even much larger opponents. With a crew of 5, even the shells that do penetrate will fail to destroy the tank in a single or even multiple shots, increasing the survivability even more. The only drawback is the massive amount of ammunition the tank can carry at a maximum number of 92 shells. This can prove fatal if a shell penetrates in the wrong spot. Due to the premium nature of the M4A5 Ram II, it receives bonuses towards researching vehicles rank 1 through 3, as well as a substantial boost to Silver Lion gain and RP gain. Battle. It is recommended that you use this tank in an offensive manner, rushing to the cap points at the start of the game and taking cover to maximize survivability, while making sure to hide the machine gun turret on the front of the chassis. It is a known weak spot and can be easily penetrated. The quick-firing 6-pounder mounted on the vehicle is capable of dealing with even the most dangerous foes. To further increase the effectiveness of the main armament, the tank features a shoulder stop stabilizer that is effective at up to 10 miles an hour or 16 kilometers an hour. With the armor, speed, and firepower of the M4A5 Ram II, you are able to quickly conquer the battlefields.
Attention to the designated grid square. Yes, a hit. The enemy has been destroyed. The gun's been looted. Attention to the map. The target hasn't taken any damage. The target has been destroyed. Allied forces have captured a zone. Allied forces have captured a zone. Attention to the designated grid zone. To the zone. Got him! Got it! The enemy tank has been destroyed. Designated grid square. We're winning. The enemy's preparing to barrage our square. Have captured a zone. Return to the designated grid zone! Enemy forces have captured a zone. Allied forces have captured a zone. We haven't nailed it! Ready! Lead!
If you are interested in this vehicle, it can be purchased from the American Tech Tree for 1,150 Golden Eagles. Thank you for watching. If you wish to see content like this in the future, please like and subscribe to Red Star. Good luck on the battlefields.